and we're also very excited to now welcome here in the studio Lena de Gunda and Stephan Schutz from Smith&Smith, our partners for this session. Welcome to Kuble CONF 2020.
Thank you very much
for
inviting us.
If you are watching, all you need now are the 3 bottles that we can see here on the table that you received ahead of the conference.
So then I would say, let's start and don't panic. That's all, it's biodynamic. Lena, please.
The topic today is biodynamic or organic wines. It helped me a lot to understand what actually conventional winemaking means. So that means, of course, you can use chemistry, you can use herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, but you can actually really make wine. Next to conventional, the next step is actually biological winemaking. They are not allowed to use chemistry at all, but you can use, of course, copper and sulfur. Everything what you use has to be organic or with a biological label. Then, if you go further to biodynamical winemaking, it's all again less, so still copper, sulfur, but less. The big difference is that they work with the moon.
Biological way, you can use biological yeast.
Yeah,
that's allowed, sorry.
Yeah.
It's biodynamic, and what we go after that, to natural, there you can only use the natural yeast.
Natural yeast that are actually from the cellar or from your grapes.
And this natural yeast, that's around us. You can see it, you can smell it, but it's around us. If you have, for example, a banana, and if you put it on the desk for a few days, so then you can smell how the fermentation starts, and exactly the same you have on the grapes.
Yes.
Yes. But it's
what they say, it's like you should not add something, but you should also not have to take something out of it. But yeah.
So the idea is let the nature do.
Exactly.
So, yeah. More honest. Let's
more
say more honest.
Exactly. Yeah. So we start with the white wine.
Yes, from Switzerland. Cru de l'Hôpital.
Chasselas. Sans soufre.
Sans soufre. That means it's no added sulfates. So cheers. I want to say a few words about the producer. It's a really nice producer from the Murtensee, Lake of Murten. It's near Bern, let's say 20 minutes.
It's Chasselas, the grape variety.
Famous grape in Switzerland, especially from the French part. So let's taste. I hope everybody has a glass.
About tasting wine, it's always first about the quality. This is quite rich in quality. In color. First of all, you see the color. It's quite rich in color, actually.
Yeah,
it has
for a Chasselas, especially for the Chasselas, yeah.
Especially for the Chasselas, it has almost like a middle yellow, goldish color. Very, very nice. It's unfiltered wine as well, so maybe you can see that a little in the bottle. It's all about the nose.
Yes, so that's also a thing that's a little bit changed now. Before, you have to look at the color, and the color must be completely clear, because every wine was filtered, sometimes really hard, and then everything have to be clear. In natural wine or biodynamic wine, if you don't filter the wine, sometimes it's not that clear,
but it can be clear.
So normally we ask now, what do you smell? How do you like it? That's a little bit complicated now. So
quite strange.
So for me, it's a really nice nose. It's few exotic fruits, flavors.
Like ripeness, right? So not unripe fruits or so, but not overripe or at all, but quite ripe fruits.
And for me, this wine have a soul. It's really really nice. It's long behind, it's full body, but it's clear and straight. Really nice acidity.
Very nice, yeah. Mostly they also do the malolactic fermentation, and I think a lot of times
they're flat in the mouth.
They're so flat, and acidity is missing.
It's flat. It's really short. After a sip, it's like the taste is finished.
And it's always like
buttery,
like this. There's just missing acidity, and it's not the case with this one.
Normally, you take the white grapes, the classical way, you take the white grapes and you press them directly.
Exactly.
But here, you let them 1 day together with the skin. You call this a maceration. And that's why you see this little bit more, the golden, more intense color in the wine. Exactly. The wine is made, you can drink it for an aperitif as well, for sure. But it's also you can have it with fish, or in the summer with nice veal, or of course vegetable if you don't eat meat or whatever.
Thank you very much for this first wine. We have a question about first the temperature of white wine. Can white wine be too cold, or what's the ideal temperature?
It can easily be too cold.
Yes, exactly. If it's too cold, you can smell anything.
You don't smell it, yeah. Even right
flavors.
now, if it was not too expressive, just leave it out and let it become a little bit warmer. With white wines, I think nowadays, if it's not like this easy drinking, super
aperitif
or wine, then you should give it
8 to 10 degrees, I would say, let's say, or 7, 8.
Yeah.
It depends also a little bit of the wine. For example, Riesling from Germany, you drink a little bit colder about the acidity and the flavors. But some really nice white wines from the Burgund, a really high class, you drink between 10, 12 degrees, a little bit warmer. So it depends a little bit of the wine. This one, I would say 8 degrees.
What's special about Chasselas? And one of our viewers asked whether you could drink this wine to a fondue.
Yes.
For sure.
This is
Traditionally. Chasselas and fondue like this, So.
Yeah.
And then we had one more question about, in general, natural wine, biodynamic wine, whether it's a category that it's just like sort of you need to like the philosophy behind it, or whether such wines already play, the person who asked said, already play in the Champions League of wines.
Domaine de Romani Conti, absolute.
Maybe you know DRC, Deutscher Ruderclub. No, Domaine Romani Conti.
The most expensive wines.
10,000 a bottle. It's biodynamic.
It's almost, it's natural since ever. They just never called it that way. So that's different. We also have one producer, they produce since 300-400 years, Lupi. They said now we have to call it in a way. Before we always used to work like that. Just now they gave it a label.
Okay, and then there was a question about the cork in this wine. Apparently there was some wax on it. Does it have a function? Someone asked.
At the end it's the same like the capsule. Some producers, they say, look, I work biodynamic, I work biologic, and I don't want to use aluminium. So I put wax on the bottle.
All right, so I'll let you continue with the first red wine then.
Yes. So now we travel Corona conform to Italy really fast.
We have now un litro from Tuscany, Toscana. Ampeleia is the producer.
Yes, Ampeleia. That's the name of the producer of the winery. It's located in the Toscana. Let's say Maremma.
In the Super Tuscan, it's you can actually think of it when you see the color, because it's quite light in color. It's quite it's not so deep and dark.
Yes. So, and that's the entry level wine. Let's say that's the entry level. So for the idea behind this wine, it's everyday drinking wine, like easy drinking wine. Exactly.
That's also.
But with style.
That's why it's in the liter bottle and not the regular size. And
so they don't use wood on the whole winery. They just use concretes and some amphoras. But this wine was for 6 months, So it was
concrete, yeah.
the grapes are Alicante, Carignano. Carignano is also known as Garnacha or Cannonau in some parts of Italy.
Alicante.
Mourvèdre, it's a typical
South
grape
France.
from South France. Sangiovese, here we have the typical grape, and Alicante Busquets. It's a typical grape from this area.
It's very mineralic. You smell a little bit of this wet stone, but it's quite spicy. The very first nose, I had like almost Christmas smell.
A little bit of leather.
Yeah. It's like really. It's like every nose is a little bit different. I think I mean, we all fell in love with this wine.
What you also can smell a little bit in this wine is a little bit of reduction, let's say. So we call them, if the wine smells a little bit like sweaty horse. Can I say that?
Yes.
Like a sweaty horse. That goes away after a while. If you have this as well, I would say you can have this wine 4, 5, 6, 7 days open, and you still can drink it. Other conventional wine, you put 150 milligram per liter sulfur, and that's for the conservation. But if you have this wine, I speak now about cheap wines, really cheap wines, and this construction wines. If you have this wine open for 2 days, you can drink it. It's oxidated and whatever. And this wine, you can have open really a few days.
Yeah,
and
you should try it every day.
Try every day.
It
it's hard
a little
because
bit, but it doesn't get oxidated so
No.
easily.
Not at my home because
Yeah, we drink it.
we drink it. So like we told you, that's the entry level wine of this winery. They produce much more different other wines. The flagship wine is Ampeleia. So if you like this wine, you should try then once the Ampeleias.
So any questions or?
I hope
What
you
are
like
your
the wine.
thoughts
Yes.
about the wine?
Yeah.
Yes, we have some more questions, and I've actually brought my glass to illustrate one of those. And of course, there's a big difference between my glass and yours.
I think if the glass has a bigger body, it can and it has to be a little bit closed on the top. So you can eat the flavor.
It's more than I can show.
Exactly. We do this all the time because
Yeah.
you should first try and smell a wine when you just pour it in the glass and you don't shake it or do it anything.
Don't shake it. Yeah.
Then you should try and smell it, and then you should do that, and then it's something completely different. So it really helps to
open the wine,
to
get all flavors
all
out
the
of
flavors,
it.
aromas, yeah.
But in short, you would recommend to use such glasses?
Yes.
Bigger glasses,
Because-
yes, always.
Do the same like me.
Yeah,
You
don't.
see,
You can
because in
and
here
don't-
you can really
watch
play
out
with the
to pour not too much. Just
Yeah.
pour 1 deciliter,
Yeah.
not more, because
Yeah.
otherwise you cannot do that. And then
No, and you're alone at
smell
home,
it.
so you can all the time do
Yeah.
this. So yeah,
And did
From-
you use the same glasses for the white and the red wine?
Yes.
yes, this wine is designed by
This glass, yeah.
by René Gabriel. He's a famous wine critical, let's say, and he designed this glass especially for white, for red, for all kind of
Universal
wines.
glass.
Yes, exactly, universal glass.
The other question was regarding the size of the bottles. So the standard size is 7.5 deciliters. Where
Seven.
does it come from?
That comes from, normally you say from 1 kilo grapes, you can produce 7.5 deciliter wine. In Switzerland, we do it a little bit, that's 7.5.
Yeah.
A lot of producers still in this area, they use the 7.0. Yeah.
Ah,
And un litro, that's typical from Italy back in the
that's
days.
where the
Yeah.
We have
question comes from. Yeah.
we have
Why
a
is it
lot
here
of-
1 liter? Yeah.
Yeah.
And regarding what we smell, there was one more question about how it depends on what we eat. Whether you eat
Oh,
bread
yeah.
or you don't
Yeah.
eat at all, like at the moment.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really a huge difference. You can have such a nice meal you can have such a good wine, but they don't match.
And
then-
sometimes it's also different. It's completely opposite. Sometimes it's like the perfect match, but then you've finished eating, and then wine is not the same anymore, and you want to change the wine, or you want to go somewhere else.
Okay, so I'll finish my glass and leave
We
you
go
for
to the
next.
Yes.
Red, I think.
Yeah, maybe I can say something about when we taste wines, we talk about primary aromas. They come from the fruit, from the grapes.
From the grapes.
Exactly.
Self, yeah.
Then we have secondary aromas.
Aromas, they come from the secondary flavors, they come from the production, let's say wood.
Cellar, wood, concrete, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said before. If it's
And
oxidative way or reductive
tertiary.
way.
How say
Tertiary.
this in English?
Tertiary.
Third, let's say third flavors, aromas.
From the aging.
Yeah. So I would say let's move forward to the last wine for today. Now we make a chain.
Sorry.
I'm almost finished with work, so let's drink it.
Funky
Change the
label.
country. Yeah. Funky label, funky wines.
Funky guy.
Yeah, funky guy
Funny
as
guy.
well. Funny guy. Go. This is southwest of France. It's beyond Bordeaux.
Yeah,
It's
Montpellier, exactly.
south of the
of
Bordeaux.
It's,
Yeah,
it's also for
it's Bordeaux. It's well known. Gao, it's not so well known. And we have the MALBEC INVAVDERS. It's the name of the wine. He always do really funny labels. One wine, it's "You fuck my wine," but it wasn't allowed to bring it here because the camera. So we choose this one. It's 100% MALBEC. Maybe you know MALBEC. Many people think that MALBEC it's originally from Argentina or Chile. That's not true. It's born. Can you say born? No, it's the history of MALBEC. It's really in Bordeaux.
Bordeaux and Gao.
Yeah, and Gao, especially in Gao. He is one of those producers who's really the idea to bring the terroir, the terroir out of the wine. So he fermentates the plots separately. Yeah.
Malbec is a grape that has a lot of color.
And it's a whole bunch fermentation. So we call it. He takes the whole grapes with everything and put it in the
Usually
concrete.
you squeeze the berries so that they break, and then the juice runs out of the berries, and the fermentation starts within the whole bunch, the whole.
Yeah, it's really a whole bunch. Means you have the whole.
The fermentation starts within the berries itself.
Yes, in France it's macération carbonique.
But what happens is that you have CO2 in the bottle. So if it's a little bit of sparkling, you can actually just shake
it out.
Shake it out.
I hope my
If
boss
you
don't look still, but really, this kind of wine you can take it like this, shake it a little bit,
really
and then you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
If you don't like
it's
it,
not bad. It's not bad for the wine. This wine, if you just open it now, the wine is really good. But if you just open it, you have this reduction. So this a little bit wet dog, sweaty horse, maybe.
We opened it.
We opened it 2 hours
5.
ago, maybe. Yeah, 1.5 hours.
So it changed a lot.
This wine that really needs a bit time. So if you have really this a bigger glass, it makes sense to play a little bit with the wine, to give it some air, to put also the CO2 out. It's also this wine you can drink after a few days.
Yeah.
And you will see the change, what's happened with the wine. It's really interesting. So yeah, it's completely without any filtration and just the minimum of sulfur. I think, how much is it?
And
10 or
Yeah.
15, 20.
And he would also bottle the wine also without sulfur, but we preferred it with because it's the wine is a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
And sometimes, since we are working with a lot of restaurants, it's very difficult if you have to explain to the customer, or the restaurant has to explain to the customer, if every bottle is different. Even when we get the new wine, we are very excited and always try it immediately. And then when we try it maybe 2-3 months later, it changes a lot because it was on the journey and with the, so it's really also it changes.
So I would say let's try.
Yeah, let's try it already.
It's nice dark fruits and those.
We have some more questions about this wine. Someone actually commented that it smells like your socks. What are you telling to such a person?
Yes,
reductive.
That's reduction. Give the wine, really give them a few minutes, a few hours. Really try it in 1 hour, or give the wine some air. That's what we try to explain before. You can say it in general. Some wines they need the air, and other wines they don't need it. Also old wines. If you have really old wines, don't give too much air then.
How should you keep an open bottle in the fridge? How should you close it? How long can you keep it?
Cork, put it on and in the fridge.
Okay.
The thing is, in the fridge, then you have to take it out 2-3 hours before dinner.
Yeah.
For sure, he gets a little bit of temperature, but I always store it like in the fridge,
And
just with the cork. No, with this. What's the name? Where you can put
plastic.
No, just
Equipment.
Cork,
and put it in the fridge.
Okay.
Room temperature doesn't.
And but room temperature. That's something that comes from back in the days, where you had 16-17 degrees in your
you only had
in
one,
your room,
and
now drink red wine between 16, 18, 90 degrees, not 22 degrees.
15 even. Also, I
So,
rather go a little bit less, but
And I actually take some bread with me because the colleagues who are joining in the background mentioned that they need some more bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
But leave the wines here, okay? So, but in the end, it's
Personal.
it's personal taste. I mean, we can talk here for hours and hours and hours about a certain wine if you don't like it at the end. So at the end you have to find out what you like, but stay curious, try different things, and if you don't like it the first time, try the second time or the third time. So I hope you had fun at home, and now you have 3 bottles left, and
Enjoy them.
enjoy, and if not,
And you're always welcome to visit us or call us or write us.
send us an email if you have some more questions.
Smith&Smith Wine Company.
Yes, thank you very much.